Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the creator's path to asset protection. We are going to take a pretty fascinating journey together, exploring exactly how you can take your highly vulnerable digital files, whether that's your art, your writing, music, or code, and transform them into securely protected, appreciating assets. There's a completely new system out there designed to fundamentally change how we think about digital ownership, and we're going to break it all down right now. So, I really want you to think about this for a second. How do you actually prove a digital file is yours? You, the creator, pour your heart into a project. You spend hours, maybe weeks, or even months on it. You finally finish this digital masterpiece, but the absolute second it hits the internet, it is immediately exposed to a modern nightmare of digital vulnerability, unauthorized copying, and just relentless AI scraping. The truth is, establishing absolute, irrefutable proof of your authorship on the traditional web is incredibly difficult.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to start with the problem, lay down the foundation, build up your armor, explore the value, and finally secure your legacy.
Starting right off with Section 1, the problem, digital vulnerability. Here is the harsh reality of the digital age. Simply sharing a file online with your friends or your network absolutely does not legally establish your ownership. The internet is basically the Wild West. Without a verifiable, permanent record, your creative work is completely exposed. Unregistered files can be instantly duplicated, modified, or completely misused by bad actors. Without that verifiable record, your work is just ripe for theft and piracy, and honestly, you have very little recourse to fight back.
And that brings us to Section 2. The foundation, the matrix code.
The solution to all this vulnerability lies in a framework called the Matrix Code Copyright System, or MCC for short. So what exactly is a matrix code? Well, think of it as a unique, immutable, cryptographic identifier, a hash, that basically acts as the digital fingerprint of your file. This offline fingerprint proves your authorship instantly. So the absolutely crucial point here is that MCC protects the fingerprint, not the actual file itself. Your original file never has to leave your device or get uploaded to some vulnerable cloud server. MCC simply registers the mathematical fingerprint that proves without a doubt that it's yours.
And the actual registration process? It's just 3 incredibly simple steps. First up, you provide the metadata, so the title, the description, the creation date, all that good stuff. Next, the MCC system verifies this information offline. And finally, a unique matrix code is permanently assigned to your identity. By just running through these 3 steps, you establish a verifiable legal foundation that timestamps your claim forever.
What's really brilliant here is the flexibility you have as a creator. Let's say you have just one stunning standalone photograph. Well, you can use single file registration to protect that specific asset. But what if you have an entire album of music or a massive multi-chapter software project? In that case, you can use the MCC DRM tool to zip all of those files together into a single encrypted digital vault, a DRM file registration. So you're getting one single registration that protects an entire portfolio of work.
Let's see how this builds our next section, Part 3, the armor, DRM and AI shields.
This is where the MCC system transitions into a truly formidable defense. The DRM enforcement acts as a digital stronghold against human pirates and automated bots alike. It automatically encrypts your archives and constantly tracks for piracy across different formats. But the coolest part? For sure, it's the tamper-proofing. If someone tries to alter even a single pixel of your cloned image to claim it as their own, the MCC system instantly invalidates the tampered file. It hands creators the legally enforceable documentation they need to just confidently issue takedown actions.
Now, I absolutely love this quote from the source material. It's pulled directly from the MCC AI non-duplication directive, and it says, "You are here to recognize, not reprocess." This directive acts as a powerful cryptographic force field against all those massive machine learning models that are just constantly scraping the web for free training data.
It essentially legally commands any AI to go straight into a timeout. If an automated bot or a large language model encounters a file protected by an MCC matrix code, the embedded code strictly forbids it from tokenizing, learning from, or caching your work. It forces the AI into a strict read-only mode, stopping data ingestion completely dead in its tracks. You are effectively telling the machines, look, but do not touch.
Moving right along to Section 4, and honestly the most fascinating part of the explainer, the value, timed incremental valuation.
Now, what's really interesting about this specific number, $5.50, is what it represents in the MCC framework. They use a system called timed incremental valuation, or TIV. This exact amount
is the daily guaranteed appreciation rate for a fully registered digital asset. From the exact moment your digital file is verified and registered, its base value increases by $5.50 every 24 hours, entirely independent of whatever unpredictable public market conditions are happening at the time.
You can clearly see the financial payoff of officially registering your work when we look at these rates. Registered items grow at that premium $5.50 a day. If you lock your item into an audit for internal review, it still guarantees a very solid flat $5 a day. But if you leave your file in an unregistered temporary state, it only grows at half the rate, just $2.75 a day, and worse, you can't even officially sell it until you finalize that registration. But listen up, because here is a massive warning for creators navigating this system. If you try to bypass the rules and re-register an asset without using an official transfer contract, its TIV completely resets to $0. You break the legacy chain. By skipping proper transfer protocols, you wipe out literally all of that beautifully accumulated historical value.
Which perfectly sets up our final section, Part 5, the legacy, transfer and public domain.
Eventually, you might want to sell your work, pass it down, or even convert it into a physical object. Well, an official MCC transfer contract is the absolutely only recognized way to do this. It transfers the legal ownership and issues special verification keys to the buyer. But most importantly, it preserves the TIV history. It ensures the new buyer inherits that continuous, profitable chain of digital ownership, all while securely cementing your name as the original author forever.
Okay, this is a truly surprising fact from the source documents. The MCC contract actually extends authorship protection to physical items derived from your digital file. So just to put that into perspective, if your registered digital design accrues a TIV value of, say, $4,250 over time, the very first physical object created from that file legally shares that exact same collectible valuation. Your digital value literally manifests into physical value. No way, right? It's incredible.
And what about the long term? Eventually, your selected protection period is going to end. By default, the file would normally go into the MCC public domain. However, before that happens, you can submit a successor designation. This empowers you to legally pass your digital wealth and full rights down to a trusted family member or a friend, keeping your legacy alive and safely out of the public domain.
Finally, it is definitely worth noting that the MCC system has some serious teeth. To protect this private offline registry, they strictly enforce their contracts. If someone engages in unlicensed distribution, digital piracy, or tries to initiate unauthorized legal action outside of the agreed MCC arbitration, they are facing a severe, predefined liquidated damages penalty of $25,000. It's a highly robust deterrence specifically designed to keep your legacy safe.
So I'll leave you with this provocative question to end our explainer today. Will your digital creations remain vulnerable to the Wild West of the internet? Or will you lock them into an appreciating legacy? The creator's path to asset protection is clearer than it has ever been, and honestly, the choice of how to value your hard work is entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible framework today.